Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Continuing on with college football week 5. Good Big 12 game here. BYU at Baylor. Let's do it.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, like I said, BYU on the road at Baylor here. Bears are laying 3.5 now. This number's been bought up from 3. Total sitting down at 45.5. Let's take a look at the pie charts that I don't trust, and this data is looking crazy for this game. So according to this, public action is on BYU, and now the money's on BYU as well. But as recent as 24 hours ago, the money was all in on Baylor. So, I mean, look, like I keep saying, take this data with a grain of salt. So let's get into this matchup, and we'll start with the BYU hot start. Perfect 4-0 this year. Perfect 4-0 against the number. Definitely looking impressive, coming off a 30-point win over Kansas State. Now, if you watch that game, you know a lot of that was Kansas State shooting themselves in the foot. That wasn't really a 30-point dominant victory like that, but that's what the final score says, and it was most definitely an impressive win. But let's actually start with the Baylor offense. This is an offense that's been running the ball, but keep in mind we saw a quarterback change here, so obviously you bring in a new quarterback, sometimes the whole offensive scheme changes. But right now on the season, the offensive numbers don't look good. 71st in yards per play, 95th in success rate, 112th in PPA. They've been running the ball. Rushing numbers don't look good at all. 69th in yards per carry, 97th in rushing success rate. Passing numbers, 45th in yards per pass attempt. And no question, since Sawyer Robertson took over at quarterback, the passing attack has looked much better. But I really don't have much faith in the Baylor rushing attack at all. They pretty much did all their damage against Air Force. In the Air Force game, they averaged over 6 yards per carry, 230 yards on the ground. In their 2 games against Power 4 opponents, Colorado and Utah, 3.38 yards per carry, just 3.38 yards per carry, just a 33.7% rushing success rate. That is not good. And okay, Utah, all right, that's an elite defense. But Colorado, you can't struggle to run the ball against Colorado. That defense is improved. It's still Colorado. So I don't think this Baylor rushing attack is very good. And by the way, BYU's defense has been out of this world this year. Look at their run defense numbers from their 2 road games against SMU and, well, Wyoming has been very disappointing this year. And SMU's been a little disappointing also, but still, there's talent on that offense. In those 2 road games, BYU's run defense, just 97 rushing yards per game allowed, 4.35 yards per carry. So I do not expect Baylor to have a consistent rushing attack in this game. This BYU defense has been really impressive, and they deserve some credit. But what about the passing attack? Like I said, Daquan Finn got benched. Sawyer Robertson takes over, and no question, this offense has a new energy. He's been throwing the ball in his 2 starts, 460 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, over 9 yards per pass attempt. He's also handled pressure really well. Look at his splits here. He's got almost all A-pluses when pressured this year, which is obviously something you love to see with a new quarterback. But now let's flip it over and look at the BYU defensive numbers. And yes, it's only been 4 games, but this is crazy. BYU's defense is 13th in the country in DFEI. Keep in mind, this was one of the worst, probably the worst defensive front in the Big 12 last year. 13th in DFEI. Look at those pass defense numbers. 6th in yards per pass attempt allowed in the country. 17th in pass defense success rate. 3rd in effective pass. This pass defense has been elite. They're allowing just 4.38 yards per pass attempt on the year. 132.8 passing yards per game allowed. This has been crazy. And the part about this that's the most wild is it's not like they've played nobody. Now, yes, Kansas State, Wyoming, SMU. Those are 3 teams that are definitely coming out with some disappointing passing attacks this year, but still, those are legitimate, respected programs. To put up elite pass defense numbers like this, we have to take note of it. So I know everyone's loving this new look Baylor offense. Everyone's loving Sawyer Robertson right now, but if you actually look, really hasn't done much. Okay, played really well against Air Force. Air Force is terrible. This is the worst Air Force team we've seen in 20 years. I've said that before. And then the Colorado game, 11 of 21, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 52.4% completions. In my opinion, Sawyer Robertson has not shown us enough to be the one we all trust to be the first quarterback to cook on BYU's pass defense that's been elite so far this year. So yes, I agree. Maybe BYU's pass defense numbers are a little inflated based on the fact that the 3 FBS programs they've seen are all struggling in the passing department this year, but I'm not going to just be like, oh, Sawyer Robertson will cook on them. I think BYU's defense is going to continue to look good here. But now we got to talk about the other side. We got to talk about BYU's offense. They've been throwing the ball, 46th in pass frequency, 89th in run frequency, so nothing crazy there in terms of play calling. The run game has definitely been struggling, 73rd in yards per carry, 86th in rushing success rate, 92nd in effective rush. Passing numbers look significantly better. I really don't think we can count on the run game being there for BYU. Here are their numbers against SMU and Kansas State, just 113 rushing yards per game, 3.65 yards per carry. Offensive line really wasn't getting pushed, and the reason I chose these two games, SMU and Kansas State have very comparable defenses talent-wise to Baylor. Baylor's defense is sitting at 54th in DFEI. They've been great across the board. Really questionable strength of schedule so far, but still 21st in yards per play, 6th in success rate, 28th in PPA. They've been solid against the run, solid against the pass. Again, questionable strength of schedule, but still this defense is comparable to Kansas State's defense is better than Baylor's, but I'd say it's comparable to SMU. The only team that's been able to run the ball on Baylor so far this year has been Utah, and honestly, the Utes didn't even really steamroll them like that. 4.59 yards per carry, 170 yards on the ground. So, I mean, Baylor was even able to hold their own somewhat against Utah in that game. BYU's rushing attack is definitely not Utah. So, overall, I don't think we can really count on the run game being there for BYU. It's really going to come down to Retzlaff. Do you trust Retzy or not? I mean, he's a gunslinger. On the season, 990 yards, 8.5 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Definitely putting the ball in harm's way a little bit, but he's a gunslinger. He's making some plays. Baylor's pass defense looked great in their first 3 games. Just 75.7 yards per game allowed through the air, 4.57 yards per pass attempt. These are elite numbers. 22% pass defense success rate. But here's the thing. They played nobody. They played Utah. Cam Rising got hurt I think it was at the end of the first quarter. They were down 23-0. So Utah's offense was crushing them. Cam Rising got hurt, and then Baylor's defense looked good. So they really have played nobody in terms of defending the pass. We just saw him play Colorado last week, which is the 4th game. Shedeur Sanders, 25 of 41, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, on 146.9 passer rating. Now, by no means am I comparing Jake Retzlaff and the BYU passing attack to Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado passing attack. I'm not doing that. But I do think it's important to point out that up until last week, Baylor has played nobody in terms of a passing attack. Literally nobody. They finally play Colorado, a team that can throw the ball, and Shedeur Sanders was able to throw the ball. Now, this isn't an electric game. It's a pretty solid game throwing the ball. So the first time Baylor sees a passing attack, they were able to get thrown on. So maybe Retzy's able to make plays here. I like Retzy, man. The problem with Retzlaff has been turnover-worthy plays. I mean, look when pressured here. He puts the ball in harm's way when you get pressure on him. It's a little concerning. Consider Baylor has some nice-looking pass rush numbers. 46th in pass rush grade, 26th in pressure rate. So you're like, oh shit, Baylor's pass rush is coming for Retzy. But check this out. Is Baylor's pass rush good or not? Hear me out. They've played 4 games, right? One is against an FCS team. One is against Air Force. They don't throw the ball. So the only 2 games left here are Colorado and Utah. Yeah, they generated a ton of pressure against Colorado. We know what that Colorado offensive line is like. But against Utah, they really didn't generate pressure. Now, is BYU's offensive line comparable to Utah's offensive line? Of course not, but BYU's done a solid job in pass protection. 16th in pass blocking grade, 94th in sack rate allowed, 59th in pressure rate allowed, 50th in QB hurry rate allowed. So BYU's pass protection hasn't been terrible. Look, am I telling you Retzlaff is about to go on the road into Baylor and make a ton of plays and put up 35 points? No, but I am telling you that in my opinion, I don't think this number should be higher than a field goal. Clearly, the market's against me. I mean, some sharp action came in, bought up those Baylor -3s, but at 3.5, I'm going the other way. BYU, I'm trusting Retzy here. Give me BYU plus 3.5. I think they can win this game outright. I'm on BYU here. If you want to see all the bets I currently have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, when you sign up to Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 and one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So if you're interested in that, head over to the website and sign up. Let's have ourselves a nice week 5 here. Live shows. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. up to kickoff. We'll go through every single college, well, not every single one. We'll go through about 30. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. NFL show, 11 a.m. up to kickoff. Let's have ourselves a good one. Bet responsibly. Talk to you in the Discord.